Seattle had lost that game, they wouldn't have been they wouldn't have been better than 500 in this division by the end of the year. They couldn't have done any better than that. They would have lost both to Arizona, and they would have lost 3 in a row for the first time in the Russell Wilson era. But the defense looked much more stout than it had all year long. To what do you attribute that, do you think, Troy?
You know, it's not what I expected. We had Seattle against the Rams last Sunday, and they didn't play well in the first half. But in the second half, against a good offensive team in the Rams, they held them to 6 points and did a nice job. And then they come in against Arizona, the number one offense in football, going over 400 yards a game, and they played really well. I just think that the Seattle Seahawks are just trying. You watch them, and they just don't really seem to know exactly what they're going to major in on defense, and they're caught in a real bind because of the injuries they've had in the secondary and not being able to really get after the quarterback. But they corralled Kyler Murray last night, holding him to a season low in rushing yards, and I think it's just they were effective with their blitzes and did a nice job. If they can just get, the key for Seattle really has been if they just protect the football. And I know that that's cliche, and a lot of teams can say the same thing, but it's really true about this particular team. And when they do that, then they're really hard to beat. And offensively, they can be explosive. They got back to what we know they've been about. And I know that Pete Carroll, when we had them going into the Rams game, he kind of, brushed aside the question I had about whether he was comfortable with how much they were throwing the football, because I know at his core he likes to run the ball. And then they had another poor outing, and Russell Wilson struggled, and then he made it clear this past week that he wanted to get back to doing what they have done for so many years, and it paid off. And I don't think that takes away anything from what Russell Wilson has been about, but they're a better football team when they're balanced and being physical, and it really helps their defense out as well. And I think that part of it's been lost. And so I think it was good complementary football. And as you know, Rich, I mean, Seattle, regardless of what it looks like, this is just one of those resilient teams that you just never can count out. And even had they have lost, I would not have been worried about them too much because, and I understand every game's, a difficult game in our league, but if you look at their next 4 games, it would be a huge surprise if they don't win the next 4. So even with a loss, they're looking at 10-4 after the next month of the season. So now that they won, they're in a great position, and they're only going to be in a better position here in the next 4 weeks.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.